Talking CRM with Jeff and David, getting the best value for the whole organization from your integrated CRM and accounting systems. David Beard, CRM Principal, and Jeff Richards, Head of Training Program Development for Sage CRM, spend time chatting with customers, resellers, and others about Sage CRM in action around the globe.
In this episode, we talk to Jeff about other successes they've had with Sage CRM, why centralizing customer support is so critical, and the importance of evolving process improvements, as well as what he'd like to see in the product to support new ways of working in the future. Have you had experience in other sort of installations like that or related installations like that in your region?
Yeah, so we have actually, and we're constantly looking for opportunities now with the success we've had at CRM, and it kind of grows from it. One of the big implementations we did was Cape Nature in South Africa, which is obviously maintains and looks after all the nature reserves in the Western Cape and even further regions. And they are using Sage CRM from a permit system perspective. And it was a massive implementation to use a Sage CRM system for that. And then we've got a couple of other clients that we've done recently and looked at opportunities for, including ourselves. Because the system is so expandable from a functionality perspective, we believe not only using it from the quoting, managing the actual sales leads that are coming in, the prospects, etc., which, traditionally what people are looking at your CRM system, but the service desk requests in terms of our own business, in terms of a business partner and the issues that are being logged from customers in the portal. As our business is growing and we're getting more and more customers, the pick up the phone call model doesn't work very well. You need to have some sort of centralized system that logs and gives that customer support and makes them feel loved. And you're keeping them also up to date from a details perspective. It gives you an opportunity to reach out to them. Is everything going okay? How's your balances on your hours and implementation perspective? So we have done some really nice implementations, and we're constantly looking for other ones.
If you think about the actual implementation that you carried out at Helderberg Village, you mentioned the need to be able to not see it as a separate system, but one that was an extension of their underlying finance system, the underlying account system. In terms of the advantage that Sage CRM brings beyond the integration, because you also mentioned exchange integration, where do you see processes and the advantage that Sage CRM brings to processes?
So in process specifically, I think the queue management and the approvals within that and the information availability from the managers to see the work that's in the different queues, and in particular Helderberg Village's case, where you had an item being allocated to someone. You wanted to make sure that allocated and the escalation rules that sit behind that, the workflow management, is actually used correctly. So if this, and I'll give an example of how we do it in ours, because I don't want to give all the detail of how they're good, but if we have an SLA client and it specifically needs a high priority, obviously the escalation rules you can do in the CRM system, that gets escalated automatically. So where our primary consultant for a client might be unavailable because they're at another consulting or they're doing training or they're on leave or whatever the reason would be, we have an escalation rule that automatically takes that service desk request and escalates it to their manager or to another consultant, so that actually gets dealt with, because we have an SLA with that client. It has to be responded to within a certain time period. So it's that sort of workflow management and the processes within the Sage CRM system which are really powerful. And it's something that, it's probably not utilized by most people. You're not actually looking at the overall view of what the system can provide. I think a lot of people stop at the out of the box and never take it any further.
When we're looking at the taking it further, we've got a whole variety of different aspects that allow for customization. Thinking about that customization, do you have a sense of what the skill load was like for your partners, for your team? So what is it like for you to implement in terms of skill demands?
It's difficult to say. I mean, we don't have the biggest team. We have a very small team from a Sage CRM perspective, but what they have is many years of experience and they've grown with the product. I think, So any sort of scenario that we throw at them, they can easily handle. I think that's, how they handle it because of the experience level that they have. I think someone new to the journey might find it a little bit more difficult. But with a bit of guidance and training, I think it's pretty simplistic to do a lot of these configurations. The out-of-the-box functionality that's there, you can give to customers, and then you can go into the back end and try and work it. It's not simple. No system is simple, but I definitely think it's a lot easier than some of the other systems you've worked with.
When you're looking into the future, what magic wand do you want to wave that will produce a particular change in the software?
I think one of the things you definitely need to make sure we address in the future is we're in a new world of working. I mean, we've never met. We're doing this, virtually. I think the world is a little bit different now in terms of how we understand our engagement with customers and what that feedback is. And if we look at in terms of new technology, how do you apply that to the CRM world? Could you, for example, in a customer call, read their facial recognition and understand whether they looked interested or not, and actually record that, whether that's compliant with GDPR and all the other personal information?
That's a whole box.
No. So maybe not that use of technology, because it probably would get me arrested, but maybe something similar where you're actually training through conversations or words used that the type of customer that you should be profiling and ones that you should be contacting. Where's your most success? Like if majority of your customers sit within this product base, that's the people you should be phoning today. Where is the AI and the data learning, the machine learnings that we're getting and those insights? Because there's some great insights you get in the visualizations. And the reason I bring that up is, my background being I actually was at Sage for many years. I was the Sage Intelligence product manager.
Aha.
And that was fully integrated into multiple products, as you're aware. And as a result of that, there was very different products and offerings that were there. But Sage Intelligence always had the differentiation that you could pull data from any source, not just the financial system, pull it together and get some really deep insights. And then because it was Excel, everyone's familiar with it. And you could also extend it into Power BI and whatever you wanted because it was just really simple. And I think that's where you'd want to grow your CRM. So maybe using late technology, but also taking the insights and data that you have and making it available as part of the data warehouse of the overall organization.
There is some good news in this. We're in conversation with the conversational AI team within Sage. David and I have talked about this before in previous podcasts and in our video logs that we are bringing an element of AI into the product. Your idea of being able to use facial recognition, there is actually a story about this. We did look back. We had this event in Dublin. It was the era that Google Glass had come out. So we're looking at the possibility of using facial recognition, automatic API endpoints being able to pull up information from CRM. As you walked into the room, you'd be able to see this is this person, this is this person, and be able to extend that into the accountancy system so that I don't know this person, but I recognize this person and they owe me $20,000. And we were starting to kick around this idea so much, we got so enthusiastic about it, and then suddenly realized that what we were designing was something we could go to market with called Creepy CRM.
I feel I need to jump in here and walk you both back from the arrestable cliff edge. And Jeff Ryan say to you, bringing data together, accounting and front office, and in your example of Helderberg, service tickets, that sort of thing, means you could make some more intelligent, Sage intelligent type studies, reports and things like that, right? Rather than focusing on people's eyelashes.
100%. So, look, I think, the reality is that, and I say this to each of our clients we engage with, is we've got some really great systems from Sage. They've launched Intec into the markets in the last year, and I think that's one that you guys should look into making a seamless integration with Intec. That's why it's effective in the Sage 300 cloud space. It's just available. It's like the integration is there. And once it's integrated and once it's available, then the insights and the data is easy to pull. You can put the data and analytics, which is another Sage product that's come out. You can set that overview. It's got all the data in the data lane and give those insights across your business. You've got customer related information, finance information, operational data, and I think that's where the opportunity really is. I've just got off a sales call literally where I was selling the virtues of Sage CRM. And they know Sage, they love it. They're a Sage customer. They want to Sage in Sage family. They need something that's easy to integrate with the world of where they're going with digital transformation.
In the next episode, Jeff talks about regional trends he is seeing in a country with patchy infrastructure and the emerging technologies they could put to use on the African continent and how they progress a customer's usage of Sage CRM.
You've been listening to Talking CRM with Jeff and David, getting the best for the whole organization from your integrated CRM and accounting systems.